felt like wizards having a battle in Harry Potter, just shooting the fire at each other. Usually, there would be about 5 or 6 of us that were playing at a time, and most of the other kids just thought we were crazy. Everyone else would change into their regular clothes and get out of the way as fast as possible. They were definitely the smart ones. But at some point, almost everyone in that class played the game. And the thing is, we'd been playing this for months without any real problems. Sure, we would accidentally melt a plastic water bottle every once in a while, or burn a hole through someone's gym shirt, but nothing serious ever happened until it did. Because during this particular day in PE, we were playing basketball, and Jerry's team lost by 1 point. And let's just say, he did not take that lightly. So we get into the locker room after playing, and he's fuming. He keeps looking at me with this mischievous look on his face, and I'm just thinking, I know he's planning something, but I don't know what. Coach Martinez goes into his office like normal, and the moment he shuts that door, Jerry whips out the body spray and gives me an evil smile. Dude, you're not ready for what I'm about to do, Jerry says. And I'm already getting nervous because usually when Jerry says something like that, someone's ending up in the hospital. We flip off the lights like always, and the locker room goes completely dark. I grab a good hiding spot behind the lockers right next to the back wall, making sure I can still keep an eye on Jerry. I'm expecting to see him shoot these little flame bursts like always, but this time, when he sprays that bottle, I see a massive flame. I'm talking like 3-foot long flames that are lighting up the whole room. He was holding the can down forever, but he's already in full psycho mode. He's running around the locker room like a fire-breathing dragon, spraying these huge bursts and laughing while he's doing it. The flames were way bigger than anything we'd ever done before, and honestly, it was kind of terrifying. They were so big that you could feel the heat right when he sprayed them. That's when I realized he wasn't using a normal can of Axe body spray. No, he got the industrial-sized can. I didn't even know that existed. He was making the whole locker room smell like chemicals with how long he was holding down that spray. I decide that I quickly need to get out of my hiding spot because Jerry has clearly lost his mind. And if he catches me, there's nowhere for me to move. But as I'm crawling out from behind the lockers, my foot kicks something onto the floor. I looked for it trying to pick it up, and that's when I see that it was a hand sanitizer bottle I kicked. Because what I didn't realize when I picked up the bottle was that a lot of hand sanitizer fell onto the floor when I kicked it. And this would end up being a huge problem just a few moments later. At first, I didn't even know this happened. I was more focused on not getting torched by Jerry's flame show. But then I hear him coming towards my area. And when I see him spray that can this time, there's a
1-hour delivery starting at 6 a.m.
Oh no.
Then 6:15, vocal warm-ups, calf raises, self-reflection.
massive burst of fire heading for exactly where I'm crouched down. The flame is so bright that for a second, I can actually see everything in the locker room. And that's when I notice there's a puddle of hand sanitizer on the ground. It's all over the floor right next to me. And I mean like all over. So what happened next felt like a movie scene because it all happened in slow motion. I see Jerry spraying his flame, getting closer and closer to that puddle. So my brain starts screaming, oh no, this is about to be really bad. Because if you didn't know, hand sanitizer is flammable. So I try to tell Jerry to stop, but he can't hear me over the sound of his Axe body spray can hissing. And the moment the flame touches the edge of that hand sanitizer puddle, the entire puddle catches on fire. And it didn't just happen for a second and then go away immediately. No, there was now a real fire spreading across the floor. Because the hand sanitizer splashed all over the place when I spilled the bottle. Within seconds, fire is spreading all over the locker room. Jerry finally notices what's happening, and he's just standing there with his mouth wide open, still holding the lighter and can of body spray like he's just frozen in place. The fire is getting bigger and bigger super quick, and we realize this isn't a game anymore. This is a real fire spreading in our school that we started. We both start panicking and try to stomp it out, but that just spreads the hand sanitizer even more. I grab my shirt and try to smother part of it, but the fire was so strong at this point that did nothing. Jerry yells, "Yo, we gotta get water!" But by the time another student runs to the showers, fills up his water bottle, and comes back, the fire had spread so much that just a little water bottle wouldn't do anything. And after a couple more seconds, the worst noise you could possibly hear in this situation goes off. The fire alarm. We gave up entirely on trying to stop the fire now and just left the locker room because that's what you're supposed to do when you hear the noise. Line up in a single file line, and then when every student is there, walk out of the classroom together. Which is pretty funny, by the way, because when there's actually a fire going on, no one's listening to those rules. When there's a real fire, it's every man for themselves trying to run as fast as possible and just get out of there. We don't got time for a single file line in alphabetical order. And plus, my last name starts with a V, so I'm at the back of the line. I ain't waiting for all those people in front of me. Like they're basically saying, if your last name ends in TUVWXYZ, you're cooked. So all the kids just run out of the locker room as fast as they can, not in a single file line. When we get out of the locker room, we see that a bunch of other classes are lining up in a single file and going out of their classroom too. Teachers are shouting instructions, and students are starting to pour onto the grass. All the students from the other classes were moving at a pace that said, "We know this is a drill." Except, this isn't a drill. And only me and the other students in that locker room knew that. When we see all the other classrooms coming out into the yard, I grab Jerry's arm and say, "Jerry, whatever happens, do not tell anyone that we did this." We just get swept into the crowd of all the students heading for the exits. Everyone is talking and laughing because they just think it's another normal drill. Some students are playing jokes, some are playing rock, paper, scissors. I heard one person say that someone's fart probably set off the fire alarm. As we're walking toward the field, I keep expecting someone to just grab me and drag me towards the principal's office. When we finally all make it outside to the grass, the reality of what just happened hits me. There are hundreds of students gathering onto the field. Teachers are doing head counts, and we're just standing there on the grass with no control over what happens. But after a couple minutes, we hear another terrifying noise. Fire trucks. I thought things couldn't get any worse, but then over the intercom, I hear the vice principal say, "Students and staff, we are currently dealing with a serious incident in the boys' locker room. Emergency responders are on the scene. Please remain in your designated areas until further notice." Now, me and Jerry realize how serious this situation got. Because I don't know how much it costs for fire trucks to come, but I would imagine it has to be pretty serious for them to call them. Me and Jerry just stare at each other with that look on our face that said, "We're cooked. We're cooked." There were 3 fire trucks that pulled up to our school. Bit dramatic if you ask me. But I'm watching all these firefighters rush into our school with their big suits on and their oxygen tanks. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is all happening because Jerry and I were pretending to be wizards shooting flames. Jerry keeps giving me these panicked looks as the situation elevates, and I can just tell he's gonna blow our cover. The paranoia starts setting in pretty quickly. Every teacher that walks by feels like they're studying our faces, trying to figure out if we look suspicious. When Coach Martinez does a head count of our class, I'm convinced that he stares at me and Jerry for a lot longer than all the other students. About 20 minutes after we evacuated the locker room, another announcement goes off that made everything 10 times worse. We are asking all students who were in the boys' locker room during 5th period to report to the main office. We're done. We're done. We're done. Me and Jerry just go completely pale when we hear this. We're both thinking the same thing. They have to know something. I think about just running off of campus and acting like I was never even at school that day, but we had to go. If we don't report with everyone else to the office, that's gonna look a lot more suspicious than if we did. So we joined the group of the other 15 guys or so that was in the locker room with us, and all of us walked towards the main office. The whole time we're walking towards there, I'm trying to think of a good story. What were we doing when the alarm went off? Where were we when the alarm went off? Did we see anything suspicious? I'm running through every possible question they might ask, trying to make sure me and Jerry have the exact same answers so we don't contradict each other. While we're waiting in line to be questioned, I overhear some of the other students talking about what happened. One student said he smelled smoke right before the alarm went off. Another one says they saw nothing. But here's the thing. None of the students mentioned the game of hide and seek we were playing. And I think I know why. Because at some point, almost every person in that PE class played the game. So if they told the principal that we always played that game in the locker room, we would all look guilty. When it's finally my turn to talk, I'm sweating through my shirt like I just ran a marathon because I cannot lie. The faculty member's got this notebook and she's asking me basic questions. Was I in the locker room? What time did I leave? Did I see anything unusual in there? I stick to the simplest possible answers. I was changing after PE class. I left around the normal time. No.
I needed some inspiration for how to wear them, so I asked ChatGPT to help me. It was so useful to brainstorm how to wear them for different occasions like work, going out, running errands, and date night.
Let's make these soft, plush cinnamon rolls with Good Culture cottage cheese. I've made a lot of cinnamon rolls, and these are by far my favorite. Adding in cottage cheese creates a soft, fluffy dough that bakes up beautifully in the oven. Once blended with the other wet ingredients, we're going to add it to the dry mixture to create a shaggy dough. Give it a proof, and then punch. The cinnamon filling couldn't be easier to make. Just beat cinnamon, butter, brown sugar, and vanilla till soft and fluffy. After spreading the cinnamon filling, slice up the dough into strips and roll away. Proof and poof, you'll have big plush cinnamon rolls ready to bake. Now let's frost. Good Culture's probiotic cream cheese provides all the richness and creaminess for this frosting. Beat it with sugar and slather it on these warm rolls and just dig in. These rolls are addictive. Go make yourself a batch and enjoy.
I didn't see anything weird. They were writing down everything we said in this official looking notebook. It felt like we were being interrogated by the FBI. They ask if we know about students playing with fire or aerosol cans while in the locker room. And I panicked because Yeah, we were, but I just try to play it cool and say, aerosol? What even is aerosol? You talking about the soccer team? Then they asked Jerry questions, and I'm watching his face while he was giving answers, and it just made me so confident that he was gonna screw up. But he was able to stick to the plan and give a good, convincing story. We were just changing clothes, left at the normal time, didn't see anything suspicious. After the questioning, we were told to rejoin our class group, but the waiting continued. We were just stuck outside on that grass while the fire department did their work. After maybe 2 hours, they finally started letting us back into the buildings. But instead of going to our regular classrooms, they herded us all together in the gymnasium. Apparently a lot of the school smelled like smoke because it traveled through the vents. By the time we sat down on those awfully uncomfortable gym bleachers, everyone had their theories as to what happened. I even heard one person's theory was that the lunch lady's cooking abilities finally caught up to them and they caught the whole kitchen on fire. Jerry and I just sat there listening to what everyone thought happened, and we were just relieved that no one actually guessed what really happened. Who would think that 2 dummies playing with an Axe body spray can could cause a school-wide evacuation? They kept us in that gymnasium until school got out that day. When school finally ended, me and Jerry went our separate ways and just both agreed, do not talk about this. Pretend it never happened. But we had no idea what would be waiting for us the next couple of days at school. Because for the next 3 days, the investigation ramped up big time. They brought in fire investigators to find out how